Hello students, and today we're going to be taking a look at functions. This is kind of a prelude to what we need to look at our trigonometric functions, which is going to be our main unit. So a function is a rule for mapping one group of numbers to another. So let me give you some examples of functions that we've seen in the past. So for instance, if I give you something like y is equal to 3x plus 1. This is considered a function. This part here, the 3x plus 1, is the rule, and our x value is considered our input. Our y value is considered our output. And normally what we do is, for a function, we write them in an ordered pair, input, comma, output. So let's take an example here. If I'm using this function, y is equal to 3x plus 1, and I use the input -3, what output will I get? So pause the video and try substituting in -3 into x here. So let's see what value we're going to get for our output if I let x be equal to -3. Well, I'm going to get 3 times -3 plus 1. This is equal to -9 plus 1, and that's equal to -8. So what this says then is that if my input value is -3, this gets mapped to the value -8. So why is this important here? Well, when we take a look at our sine, cos, and tangent functions, these ones have an input-output relationship as well. So what I'd like you to do is I want you to find your sine, cos, and tan button on your calculators. Okay? So sine, cos, and tan are functions. And for each one of these, they have a specific input. So the first thing that we want to do that's very important is you want to make sure that your calculator is in degree mode. So at the top, it should say degree, should say deg, D-E-G, or D-R-G. There should also be a mode button on your calculator to change that. So let's take a look at taking some specific input values here and checking to see if our calculators are calibrated. So let's take a look here. What we're going to do is we're going to have our degrees here. So our input here are all degrees. So the sine of 30 degrees, the cosine of 60 degrees, the tan of 45 degrees, and we want to see what our specific output is going to be here. Okay, so I want you to punch these into your calculator. So pause the video here and punch these on in. So what we'll find is the sine of 30 gives us an output of 0.5. The cos of 60 gives us an output of 0.5. And a tan of 45 gives us 1. So the idea here is that the rule is our sine function. And it used to be that we had these big, long tables that we'd have to look up, okay, what's the sine of 30? You look through this huge long table to try to find where it is. Now, thankfully, we have a calculator that takes care of all the lookup for us. So what this does is this maps a degree between that's greater than 0, less than 90, to some number. Okay? For sine and cos, it's a number that's between +1 and -1 inclusive. And for tangent, it's any real number. Okay? So what we're going to be taking a look at is, in our following videos, well, what is sine, what is cos, and what is tan? But for now, what we want to do is just get familiar with the idea that these are functions that require an input and give us a specific